Global warming fearmongers tried to ruin the day for other people in the Sydney city centre again today. A strong police presence helped limit the damage and prevent traffic being disrupted again as the climate activists formed from a group called Blockade had another day out in the city. It comes after many of them went on a rampage through Sydney yesterday and they managed to block the Sydney Harbour Tunnel at peak hour, creating chaos for thousands. As we showed you last night, this car was parked across the southbound entrance and the driver was attached to the steering wheel with a bicycle lock until police eventually removed her and the car. We haven't got you those pictures, Shora. Hopefully we'll get them up for you soon. That protester made bail today along with 4 others. She is 22-year-old Marley Poppy Cooper from Lismore. Under bail conditions, she'll have to live at home with a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew and report to police 3 times a week until her next court appearance in 3 weeks' time. The laws the protesters have been charged under are new, coming into effect earlier this year, and they're specifically designed to prevent massive disruption by protesters. The maximum penalties are a $22,000 fine or up to 2 years jail. Now, while you and I might be pretty disgusted with this anarchy and the selfish behaviour by people pushing crazy views, over at the ABC, they're much more sympathetic.
Taking a pragmatic approach, could this rather heavy-handedness backfire? Will it only trigger more protests? I mean, certainly from speaking to Jay, he doesn't sound perturbed in the slightest when it comes to more types of penalties or infringements because he's committed to a cause he believes in.
There's no doubt that climate change is incredibly grave and serious. Like that's not being contested right in this our interaction right now. I'm sure some people would contest it with you, but it's not what I'm doing. I'm talking about the way that you exercise your freedom of speech and your right to protest. There are many people disgruntled. Aren't you putting people offside who are actually probably onside? You know, they're probably very sympathetic to what you're arguing for, but when you're throwing bins around and bicycles around, you're getting them offside. Isn't that a dangerous tactic to be taking?
Can you believe it? Over at the ABC, the biggest problem is the heavy-handed law enforcement, and the biggest problem is that these people and their worthy cause might be undermined by their actions. Their message is insane alarmism. It's just another doomsday message. Have the sense and the courage to disagree with it. Don't indulge it. The ABC is supposed to be interested in facts. These people, these protesters, preach doom and gloom, a greeny version of fire and brimstone. They reckon we are killing the planet right here and now and it's an emergency. Now, this is nutty stuff and it needs to be countered. And the trouble is that our politicians, through their irresponsible language, well, they only encourage them.
There has never been a time in Australian history that you have had so many fires which are so intense, burning across so many areas at the same time.
We are facing catastrophic climate change, catastrophic weather events, and a threat to the whole of humanity.
How dare any of you suggest that in this moment, at this time, it is appropriate to be prosecuting a piece of legislation with the aim of propping up coal. You are no better than a bunch of arsonists. Borderline arsonists.
The world now, Mr Deputy Speaker, is facing a climate emergency.
It is a race. The Earth is hotter than it has been for 100,000 years. We are just years away from an average 1.5 degrees of global warming, a point at which human security, health and livelihoods are imperilled.
You see, this is the problem. You can't keep scaring people, generating fear in the community all day, every day. You can't frighten children in school and generate ominous tones of Armageddon in the media without having an impact. The nutty protesters are a consequence of an unhinged public debate, and our politicians and media need to shoulder their share of the blame and discuss climate change in a calm, logical and factual manner.